Hello boys and girls, this is page 308 through 311 in your instruction book. We are going to be learning about line plots today. I need you to go ahead and read this problem with me. Emma's class has a jar of earthworms in their classroom. The class measures the length of each earthworm and records the data in a line plot. What is the difference between the lengths of the shortest and the longest earthworms? So here's our line plot. We can tell that the title tells us earthworm lengths, so that's what we're working with. What do the numbers below the number line represent? So these numbers down here, what do those represent? Well, if we look here at our label, it says length in inches. That's what these numbers represent. So it's going to be length, and then I'm going to put in parentheses in inches of the earthworms. How do you know which are the longest and shortest? Each one of these X's on the line plot stands for one worm. Each X stands for one worm. So if we're looking at our numbers, do you notice that they keep getting bigger and bigger? Well, when we look at our X's, the last X is on 6 inches, 6 3/4 inches. That's our longest one. That's the biggest. We don't have one bigger than that. Okay? Our shortest, we go the opposite way. We don't have one smaller than 4.5 inches. There's no more X's this way. So how do you know which is the longest and shortest? Well, we find the X farthest to the right and farthest to the left to find the longest and shortest. So what are those lengths? So when we look farthest to the right, so we're looking for our longest. Longest, you go to the right. I'm looking for my X's, and the farthest I can go right is 6 3/4 inches. Make sure you put your label, inches. Shortest, we're going to go farthest to the left. So the farthest I can go to the left is 4.5. 4.5 inches. Put your label. Explain how to find the difference between those two lengths, from longest to shortest. Well, when you see the word difference, that's going to mean we subtract. We have 6 3/4, which is our biggest, longest, minus our shortest. If you remember when we were adding and subtracting fractions, there's something different about these two. Look at the denominators. Those need to be the same in order for us to subtract. We need to change that first. So I noticed that 4, I can multiply 2 to get 4, right? Sorry. So what I'm going to do, I know that 2 times 2 is 4. What I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. I bring down my 4. 6 3/4 minus 4 2/4. Subtract your whole numbers. Okay, we have 6 minus 4 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So our answer is 2 1/4. Which is the most common length of earthworm in Emma's class? Common length. What is the difference between the length of earthworm and the length of shortest earthworm. I think it meant longest and shortest. Okay, well, let's find the most common. What that means is, which one of these has the most X's? Which one has the most represented? Well, if we look, we see that the tallest, the most X's, is at 5 1/2. That is the most common length. So 5 1/2 is the most common length. Because it has the most X's. I'm not going to make you find the second question because we already did that. So just make sure you get this one. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and make a new one for the next 2 pages.